We don't take orders. For me, it was a cliched field.
Why did you chose FERRANDI out of all the international culinary and pastry schools?
A French kitchen which is not easy to work in. एक रीज़न नहीं था, बहुत सारे फैक्टर्स को मैंने कंसिडर किया.
अगर कोई वहाँ जाके पढ़ना चाहे, अप्रॉक्स कितना कॉस्ट आता है?
फीस वॉज अबाउट €.
इंटरनेशनली एक पेस्ट्री कोर्स करने से क्या पेरिस में जॉब मिलना आसान हो जाता है?
I would go and take my CV, physically go, and I would go to stores, but they see my face and they don't want to. Some people will not want to talk to me. They understand मैं क्या बोल रही हूँ. They can respond in English, but they won't.
So what's the future plan for Loca Boca?
Tough question. If you talk about short term, there's something exciting coming up which I can't say much about.
What started as a simple blog and then an Instagram page has now grown into a French pastry delivery kitchen in Delhi NCR. This is the story of Chef Harshleen and her brand Loca Boca. शेफ हर्शलीन को बचपन से ही बेकिंग का शौक था और अपनी मॉम की होम बेकरी में हेल्प करते हुए उनका पैशन और भी बढ़ गया. कॉलेज में भी वो फोटोग्राफी सोसाइटी की प्रेसिडेंट थी, जहां उन्होंने फूड स्टाइलिंग जैसे स्किल सीखे. और कॉलेज के बाद भी जॉब के साथ उन्होंने बेकिंग कंटिन्यू रखा और स्टार्ट करा एक ब्लॉग पेज जहां वो रेसिपीज डाला करती थी, विच लेटर बिकेम अ डिलीवरी किचन इन 2019. अपने स्किल्स को इम्प्रूव करने के लिए और अपने पैशन को एक सक्सेसफुल करियर में बदलने के लिए उन्होंने फेरांदी पेरिस में एक इंटेंसिव फ्रेंच पेस्ट्री प्रोग्राम ज्वाइन करा. हाय एवरीवन, वेलकम टू द बेक बेटर पॉडकास्ट. आई एम शेफ कीर्ति, योर होस्ट एंड को-फाउंडर ऑफ द ट्रूफुल नेशन बेकिंग एकेडमी, जहां हम आप जैसे इंस्पायरिंग बेकर्स को प्रोफेशनल पेस्ट्री शेफ बनने और खुद का बेकरी बिजनेस स्टार्ट करने में हेल्प करते हैं. इस एपिसोड में आप जानेंगे शेफ हर्शलीन की जर्नी कैसी रही, कैसे उन्होंने कॉर्पोरेट से फुल टाइम बेकिंग में स्विच करा, फेरांदी पेरिस में उनका एक्सपीरियंस कैसा रहा और कैसे उनको फ्रांस की वन ऑफ द ओल्डेस्ट पेटिसरी में जॉब मिली. इसके अलावा आप सीखेंगे कि कैसे एक बेकरी बिजनेस स्टार्ट करते हैं, वो कौन से की एस्पेक्ट्स है जिन पर हर एक बिजनेस ओनर को फोकस करना चाहिए, एंड कैसे आप इंस्टाग्राम जैसे प्लेटफॉर्म को यूज करके अपना बेकरी ब्रांड ग्रो कर सकते हैं. सो लेट्स गेट स्टार्टेड.
हाय शेफ हर्शलीन, वेलकम टू बेक बेटर पॉडकास्ट. सो शेफ, जो लोग आपको नहीं जानते उनके लिए एकदम बिगनिंग से शुरू करते हैं, फ्रॉम चाइल्डहुड टू स्टार्टिंग योर ओन बेकरी बिजनेस.
Hi, I'm Chef Harshleen. I'm the founder and head chef at Loca Boca Patisserie. It's a delivery kitchen. We're based out of Gurgaon, and I've been running it since 2019 now. So we moved into this new space in 2022, and it's doing very well now. So coming back to my childhood, I'm from Delhi. पूरी life यहीं रही हूँ starting से, और स्कूलिंग भी यहीं से की है. आफ्टर दैट आई वेंट टू दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी, कॉमर्स पढ़ी मैंने. आई डिड माई बैचलर्स इन कॉमर्स. आफ्टर दैट स्ट्रेट अवे वेंट टू KPMG इंडिया. आई वॉज वर्किंग इन द रिस्क कंसल्टिंग प्रैक्टिस, एंड इट्स देन दैट आई रियलाइज्ड दिस इज़ नॉट व्हाट आई वांट टू डू विद माई लाइफ, एंड दैट्स हाउ लोका बोका स्टार्टेड. ऐसा नहीं था कि मैंने जॉब क्विट की और अगले दिन लोका बोका स्टार्ट हो गया. नो, इट वॉज अ फुल प्रोसेस. काफ़ी टाइम लगा. Starting में I quit my job. After that Loca Boca started off as a blog. I used to take pictures. Actually मेरे college time में I used to be the vice president of the photography society. So we used to do a lot of photo shoots. We used to do a lot of interesting photography. That's how I gained the interest. Then after that I started taking pictures of food styling. I started a page, Instagram page, जिसमें just photos डलती थी. Or then I used to post recipes, and people started commenting, and people would ask me, why aren't you selling? Why we want to order this? And for the longest time मैं कहती थी नहीं, we don't take orders. This was, for me, it was a cliched field, and I've always wanted to do this as my passion. I never wanted to do this full time. So काफ़ी टाइम तक तो मैंने ना करी. उसके बाद finally I just thought, why am I saying no to something that people clearly want? So that's when I got into it. 2018 to 2019 full-fledged.
ओके. सो शेफ, आपने सबसे पहले बेकिंग कब करी, लाइक चाइल्डहुड में या कैसे?
So my mom, she used to run a small baking business actually.
ओके.
काफ़ी पुरानी बात है ये. In 2000, she started in 2007. She did it for about 5 years, and that's how I actually developed the interest. उनकी स्पेस में आई यूज़ टू बेक अ लिटिल बिट, हेल्प हर आउट. शी यूज़ टू डू वेरी सिंपल स्टफ लाइक टी केक्स एंड लाइक गिफ्टिंग ऑर्डर्स, अ लॉट ऑफ बल्क ऑर्डर्स, बट nothing fancy,
Okay.
nothing cream based frosting, ये सब नहीं, like easy stuff.
Okay.
So that's how I got into it. But again वो मेरे लिए सिर्फ एक therapeutic चीज़ थी जो मैं करती थी after work. Even when I was at KPMG, I would after a long day, you know how corporate jobs are, काफ़ी लंबे hours होते हैं, काफ़ी tiring होता है. उसके बाद मैं वापस आती थी. Actually मैं ऑफिस से सीधा स्टोर जाती थी, वहाँ से मैं जो भी इंग्रेडिएंट्स मुझे चाहिए होते थे मैं लेती थी. मेरे हेड में होता था आज मुझे ये बेक करना है, मुझे ये खाना है, मुझे क्रेविंग हो रही है, तो मैं बेक करती थी. बेक करने के बाद मैं खाती नहीं थी बिकॉज मन ही नहीं करता उसके बाद, बट माई फैमिली वुड इन्जॉय इट. तो दैट्स हाउ इट स्टार्टेड कि इवन आफ्टर लॉन्ग आवर्स एट माई वर्क आई वुड वॉन्ट टू कम होम एंड स्पेंड अ फ्यू मोर आवर्स इन द किचन. तो ऐसे स्टार्ट हुआ एंड देन द ब्लॉग स्टार्टेड एंड that's how I got into it.
ओके. सो जब आपने फाइनली डिसाइड किया कि अब KPMG को छोड़कर यू वांट टू डू इट फुल टाइम, आपकी फैमिली का क्या रिएक्शन था उस पर?
My father, he was very supportive. Since the beginning, he's been like that. Like, you choose what you want to do with your life. You decide, you're smart enough to take your own decisions. My mom, because वो उस फील्ड में थी, उन्होंने कुछ टाइम किया था, उनको पता था कि कैसा होता है. She was not at all happy with it. She was very very against it, and I think वो मेरे लिए सबसे बड़ा challenge था. I still remember, and I tell her now also, she was someone who did not encourage this at all. She let me do what I wanted to, but she was very open about the fact that she's not happy about it. And today she is my biggest cheerleader. Today she's someone who's regularly helping me out. She's like a part-time employee at Loca Boca. Whenever I'm not available, I'm busy, she will be handling everything. So it's a big shift because she saw कि इस इंडस्ट्री में काफ़ी पोटेंशियल है. So I think मेरे लिए it was like I have to prove this to my own mother कि हाँ इसमें मतलब हाँ it's not just a किचन में काम करने वाली जॉब. there's actually you can make money out of it.
ओके. सो यू लेफ्ट योर जॉब, देन लाइक व्हाट डिड यू डू? आपने ब्लॉग कंटिन्यू किया?
मैंने एक ब्लॉग कंटिन्यू किया एंड देन विद द ब्लॉग आई वॉज टेकिंग पिक्चर्स. आई वॉज रियली enjoying that, but of course with time I realized that this is not something you could do to make money.
Yeah.
For me it works out for more people. Through the process only actually मैं no बोलती थी लोगों को, but through the process Greener had actually approached us and they wanted me to do an ice cream making workshop.
सो आपने तब लोका बोका स्टार्ट कर दिया था?
As a blog, yes.
ओके, एज अ ब्लॉग.
As a blog.
So you were also taking orders or you were
No,
just sharing
I was
recipes?
not taking orders. I was just sharing content that made me happy. I was taking pictures. And फिर उसके बाद Greener ने हमें approach किया and it just felt like ना क्यों बोले हम ऐसी चीज़ को, क्यों मैं ना बोलूँ. तो फिर बेसिकली वो चाहते थे कि एक हम आइसक्रीम मेकिंग मैं टीच करूँ. बेसिकली एक वर्कशॉप होल्ड करी हमने. विद दैट वी डिड अ स्मॉल पॉपअप ऑल्सो विद दैम. सो दैट वाज द फर्स्ट टाइम आई एक्चुअली sold something.
So you were managing everything yourself that time?
Yes.
Okay.
That time I was managing everything myself. Obviously I had help from my family whenever I needed, but it was all me.
Okay. Then like when did you realize you want to go professionally into this?
So in 2019, like I told you, I started taking orders, and in 2019, towards the end of 2019, people started, appreciating Loca Boca and they enjoyed the product. Of course, at that time, काफ़ी limited orders थे. मैं अकेली थी, plus इतने orders आते भी नहीं थे when you're starting out in the first year. And I was self-taught back then. I didn't know anything about running a kitchen, but it went well even then. According to then, I think it went well. And with time, in 2020 beginning, Jan of 2020 actually, I thought for the first time this thought came into my mind that okay, there is potential in this. It's not something that you can't make money out of. There's a lot of potential, and when people are appreciating your product, you can do so much more with it. That's when I thought कि I want to study professionally, because जो हम बना रहे थे that was good, but I felt like if I want to reach the next level, I don't know how to scale up my business. I don't know how to run a kitchen that's more efficient and manage time better, manage resources better, and मेरी knowledge बहुत limited थी. So that's when I decided कि I want to study. I spoke to my family, and I think Jan I decided, and by Feb I had gotten into FERRANDI.
Okay.
But I took one entire month to do my research. And
On
to
the
decide
academies?
on if this makes sense for me, and if I should, what school I should go to.
Okay. So like why did you chose FERRANDI out of all the international culinary and pastry schools?
That's a question, actually, something I get very often because FERRANDI is a school that's upcoming in India right now. And when I had gone to FERRANDI, I barely knew anyone who went to that school. But I wanted to go to a school that was, one, not very commercial, two, popular among the local people, the Parisian people or the people of France, because they specialize in pastry. They're known all over the world for it. So मैं चाहती थी कि ऐसा स्कूल हो जो कमर्शियल ना हो, बस अच्छा हो, और वहाँ के लोकल लोगों को अगर वो पसंद आ रहा है तो मतलब वहाँ वो पॉपुलर है तो अच्छा स्कूल होगा. तो ऑफ कोर्स एक रीज़न नहीं था, बहुत सारी फैक्टर्स को मैंने कंसिडर किया. नंबर वन बीइंग आई हैड अ रनिंग बिजनेस. So I knew that I had given myself 1 year, just 1 year, where I would go, learn, study there, work there and come back to my business, because I could not put it on pause for a longer time.
Okay.
And when I was there, my business was actually running. So to be away from it for more than a year, for me, it didn't make any sense.
So like उस टाइम आप कैसे चला रहे थे अपना business?
So when I had to leave, the plan was that I will put the business on a break. But my mom, by this time, she had become a very big cheerleader for Loca Boca, and she was like, no, you have a lot of potential, I'll manage, I will take care. So that's when we hired our first employee, and that employee is actually still with us.
Oh wow.
And so she was running the show.
Okay.
And because she has some experience in this field, it really helped me out. And
Yeah.
obviously at that time I would say our growth was minimal, but the point was to make sure that our existing clients and the people who order regularly and want to order, they have access to Loca Boca. And I think that was one of the best decisions we made for Loca Boca as a brand. So because when I came back, it was much easy for me to come back into the flow, to be in a kitchen that's already running, and to have to start from scratch, it would have been much tougher for me.
So आपने FERRANDI में exactly कौन सा course किया था?
I did their intensive course in French pastry. It was a 4-month course, 4 to 5 months. And coming back to, you were asking me why I chose that school. So another reason why I chose it was because I understand it may be different for someone else. For me, I wanted to not just learn in a school, but I also wanted to work. I felt like मुझे सबसे ज़्यादा हेल्पफुल होगा अगर मैं एक रनिंग किचन में काम करूँ, बिकॉज आई हैड अ बिजनेस बैक होम एंड आई हैड टू कम बैक टू दैट एंड वांटेड टू एक्सपैंड. सो आई वांटेड टू अंडरस्टैंड ऐसा क्या चैलेंजेस होते हैं एक किचन में जो एग्जिस्ट कर रही है, इन अ टफ किचन, इन अ कमर्शियल किचन दैट्स a French kitchen, which is not easy to work in. I wanted to gain more experience in that. So FERRANDI offers that to you, wherein you can work as an intern for 3 to 6 months, whatever you choose to. It's optional, of course, but you can work there.
Okay. At the academy itself?
No.
Okay.
At any place. I mean,
Alright.
they'll
They are
find you a
collaborated
place
with
to
the
work, or
cafes.
you can
Okay.
you can find. So
Alright.
I had a few places in mind, and then I ended up working at 2 over there. So that was the intention, and of course the chefs there are amazing. The batch size was small, so it worked out well for me.
Okay. अगर कोई वहाँ जाके पढ़ना चाहे, क्या प्रोसीजर होता है रजिस्ट्रेशन का, एंड अप्रॉक्स कितना कॉस्ट आता है इफ़ दे वांट टू स्टडी, एंड यू नो अकोमोडेशन कॉस्ट एज वेल?
Okay, so I can tell you from when I went, the fees was about 23,000 euros, and this is for the 4 to 5 month program, and you can say about this much again for the accommodation and all the expenses. Of course it depends. For me, when I started working there,
अब तो काफ़ी टाइम हो गया, so
it would have increased. I'm not sure, but you can easily find the information online. But when I was working there, you have an option. If you work there, you get paid as well.
Okay.
So after the schooling was done, I started earning some money which I would spend on my everyday expenses. So
ओके, ऑलराइट। अगर कोई फ्रांस में पेस्ट्री कोर्स करना चाहे या culinary कोर्स करना चाहे तो उसके लिए फ्रेंच सीखना कितना ज़रूरी है?
एसेंशियल नहीं है। आप अगर आप एक इंग्लिश स्पीकिंग स्कूल में जा रहे हो तो इट्स नॉट एसेंशियल, बट इट्स हाईली रिकमेंडेड। आई वुड से आपकी लाइफ ईजियर होगी वहाँ पे। पीपल डोंट स्पीक मच इन इंग्लिश, एंड स्पेशली व्हेन यू वांट टू वर्क इन अ किचन, दैट a French kitchen, it's very important. For me, I did not learn the language. I mean, I didn't want to because I used to teach Spanish back then. I have a background in that, and I didn't want to learn another language. But then I ended up studying some basics. And if you work in the kitchen, it definitely helps you grow more there. You learn much more because सब वहाँ पे फ्रेंच में ही बात करेंगे. बट एट द एंड ऑफ द डे अगर आप काम कर रहे हो तो आपको उनकी बेसिक फ्रेंच, किचन वाली फ्रेंच तो आ ही जाती है.
ओके, एक इंटरनेशनली एक पेस्ट्री कोर्स करने से क्या पेरिस में जॉब मिलना आसान हो जाता है?
टफ क्वेश्चन. इट सीम्स लाइक फ्रॉम आउटसाइड कि हाँ ऐसा होगा, बट नो, इट्स नॉट लाइक दैट. आई मीन, आई फेस्ड इशूज़ व्हेन आई वाज, माई फर्स्ट इंटर्नशिप वॉज थ्रू माई स्कूल, बट उसके बाद आई फेल्ट लाइक आई वॉन्टेड टू लर्न अ बिट मोर. सो मैं खुद जाके ढूंढती थी. I was trying to look for an internship at this point, not even a job, so which is much easier to get. Even then, I would every day I would email so many people, so many pastry shops, and I would not hear back from most of them. I would go and take my CV, physically go, and I would go to stores, but I don't know what it is, but they see my face and they don't want to keep, because when they see me, they know, okay, this person probably doesn't speak any French, so they don't want you to be in their kitchen. But of course, I got lucky with certain people who wanted to. They brought me in for an interview, for a trial, and then I got an opportunity to work at a restaurant.
आपके एक्सपीरियंस के बारे में बात करते हैं. जब आप वहाँ इंटर्नशिप कर रहे थे, आप कहाँ पे इंटर्नशिप कर रहे थे? आपने कितनी टाइम करी? हाउ वाज इट?
So I spent around 6 months working there at 2 different places. The first place is called Maison Mulot. It's one of the oldest pastry shops there. It's a boutique pastry shop. वहाँ पे stand alone है. That was the intention for me to work there. I wanted to work at not a place जिसके बहुत सारे outlets हों, because I felt like I had to come back to Loca Boca and I could resonate with it more. So I chose that place, and I was lucky enough to get the opportunity to work there. So I worked there for about 4 to 5 months, and then I also worked for slightly over a month at another place called Les Artisans. It's basically a restaurant. So they had a pastry kitchen and a hot kitchen separate. So, and the reason why I chose these 2 places was because I wanted 2 different experiences. One was a pastry shop and one was a restaurant.
ओके, आपने इंडिया में भी कहीं काम किया है कभी?
नहीं.
ओके, बट यू हैव एम्प्लॉयज़, राइट?
Yes.
सो आपको कुछ डिफरेंस दिखता है एक फ्रेंच किचन में और एक इंडियन किचन में?
Definitely. I think they are poles apart in their approach. A French kitchen, I would say, is much tougher, and the pace at which they work is insane. They're very different from what it is we have here. यहाँ थोड़ा, I feel like थोड़ा ज़्यादा relaxed होता है than a kitchen in France. And for me, वहाँ पे तो, of course, it's more challenging because you don't speak the language, and people there, even if they know the language, sometimes they wouldn't want to speak to you in English. ये मेरे साथ हुआ है. I'm working in a kitchen where some people will not want to talk to me, even though they understand if I'm trying to have a conversation with them, they understand मैं क्या बोल रही हूँ. They can respond in French, but they won't. Sorry, they can respond in English, but they won't. They'll talk to you in French only.
Okay.
And of course, I didn't know that much French back then. With spending time in the kitchen, of course, मैंने वो kitchen French, I picked up on it, but it's tough.
ओके, सो इस इंटर्नशिप के दौरान आपके कोई इंडियन फ्रेंड्स भी थे किचन में? डिड यू मीट एनी इंडियंस वर्किंग देयर?
I did meet one Indian person briefly at one place, but I was during my entire, I think, course there, I was not around Indians at all. I just had 1 or 2 people who were not in my course. So at the time that I was studying there at FERRANDI, there was no Indian person.
सो आपने खुद से बेकिंग सीख कर भी सेल किया है, एंड आपने एक प्रोफेशनल कोर्स करके भी सेल किया है. हाउ डिड योर अप्रोच टुवर्ड्स डिज़र्ट मेकिंग और पेस्ट्री चेंज्ड आफ्टर डूइंग अ प्रोफेशनल पेस्ट्री कोर्स?
I think for me, after over a year of running Loca Boca without any professional experience, I realized that if I want to remain at this level, this is good enough. But if I want to go up, if I have a bigger dream, then I had to learn professionally. It may be different for someone else. ऐसा नहीं है कि this is the rule, you have to do this. No. I felt like I needed to go and study, not because और टाइप की चीज़ें सीखने को मिलेंगी, but also because I will learn how to efficiently run a kitchen, how to manage time better, how to be more cost effective, and of course how to learn different kind of things. And when I decided I wanted to study, for me, I knew that I wanted to go to Paris. It was never an option, even though now I feel there are so many good Indian schools and the pastry culture in India has changed so much. It's very interesting to see. But when I went, I felt like I wanted to go out only.
Yeah, okay. So जब आप पेरिस से वापस आए इंडिया, what was on your mind and आपने सबसे पहले क्या चीज़ करी?
When I came back, I was firstly very sad, but it was very hard to come back to India. And for me, the biggest, I think, challenge was working with the ingredients that you get here. Now it's much better, I think. With time, काफ़ी ingredients यहाँ मिल जाते हैं, but the quality, the temperature, all of that. And of course, when you're in Paris, the kind of kitchen equipments they have, it's quite different from what you have here. At Loca Boca, we've tried to bring in whatever as much as we could, but it's of course not always the same as you get there. And so I think biggest challenge was that ingredients for me. And of course, when I came back, I had a small setup. So when I came back, I realized, okay, these tools are important for me. I want to invest in this. So I invested in a better oven, a better storage, better fridges, better tools. So I learned all of that. It's not just कि वहाँ गए और recipes सीख ली. I realized the importance of using the right tools.
Okay. As you said, France में temperature, ingredients, everything is different from India, right? Tropically we are very different. So I wanted to know, जब आप वापस आए तो क्या आपको अपनी recipes भी change करनी पड़ी according to Indian palate, climate and availability?
Definitely. I mean, आप same recipe लो, you cannot get the same results ever. It just ingredients are so different, temperature so different, water is different. That also plays an important part. So that was a big challenge. It's you come back and you think that you're going to try something and it will come out exactly how you made it there. No, not at all. It's like poles apart. That is, I think, one of the toughest things to figure out what to do and how to recreate things. And over there, the pastry culture is very different from here. वहाँ पे you have to create a product that people can just buy off the store and take it with them. Whereas here, it's big on delivery. So you have to make sure you're creating something that's not just visually appealing and not just aesthetic, but also can travel well according to the temperature.
So जब आप वापस आए, आपने majorly क्या-क्या changes करे अपनी brand में?
So I think I'd like to say that Loca Boca was born properly after I came back in 2022, because that's when I realized there are so many things that I needed to upgrade. We invested in our inventory, we invested in our tools and equipments, and we were using the same space for a while after that, but then we rebranded the logo also. We did everything keeping in mind what I had learnt, and we not only did the same products, we introduced more products and we revamped the existing ones that people had loved. So I understood how we can make these products better, make them taste better, make them taste more authentic, and so we revamped it essentially.
Okay.
We still have recipes that are old that we've used since the beginning, but we revamped quite a lot of it.
So आपने तब मेन्यू में क्या-क्या introduce किया था?
So when I had come back, we had introduced a lot of things like different kinds of cakes using French techniques and French methods of making. So that, and then of course entremets being a big part of it. And we started doing different kind of tiered cakes where we were doing tiered cakes with entremets as well, mousse-based cakes. and then we were doing smaller stuff like pastries and French hearts, all of that.
ओके, ये सारे चेंजेस करने में आपको कितना टाइम लगा और अप्रॉक्स आपका कितना कॉस्ट आया था?
So when I had come back, changes took a while. I think it took me about 6 months to figure out to have like a full-fledged menu that was it was in bits and pieces, but like a completely new menu took me at least 6 months. And for the cost, we it depends on what kind of things you're investing in, of course. We at that time we had gotten 2 new fridges, Japanese fridges. We had gotten a stand mixer and we got a new oven. Rest everything we had a lot of equipments from before also.
Okay. You use a lot of fresh ingredients for your recipes, right? But you know we have seasons. कभी कभार कुछ प्रोडक्ट सीजन में अवेलेबल ही नहीं होते. So how do you maintain consistency with your products?
I believe that it's important to use the seasonal best ingredients. I don't compromise on that. So we make sure that if the season is nearing end, even though the product might not be available, we will discontinue the menu because we have to make sure that the product that one has eaten in the beginning of the season versus the end should be the same. So even if we see a lot of people still selling mango or strawberry cakes, that the biggest seasons, but we discontinue it when we feel like the quality has gone down. I mean, it's tough to say no to people when they say बाकी लोग तो कर रहे हैं अभी भी ये वाले cakes, but then our priority is to focus on the end result should be good. That's the priority. So it's okay. I think there's so many new flavors that you can still experiment with, even if you're not doing those fruits. So people have enough options and they understand that.
आपने अपनी पूरी ब्रांड की आइडेंटिटी चेंज करी थी. आपके हिसाब से एक ब्रांड के लिए टाइम के साथ रीब्रांडिंग कितना ज़रूरी होता है?
आई थिंक काफ़ी ज़रूरी होता है. यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड वॉट द पीपल अराउंड यू वॉन्ट. विद टाइम जब हमने स्टार्ट किया था वर्सेस नाउ काफ़ी चीज़ें चेंज हो गई हैं. जब स्टार्ट किया था तभी भी सोशल मीडिया वॉज नॉट सो बिग जितना अब है. द काइंड ऑफ कंटेंट पीपल वॉन्ट नाउ, रील्स एंड लाइक पीपल showing your face and like just being real, all of that came into existence now, I think with the last few years. So I think understanding your market and people around you काफ़ी important है.
ओके, अगर आप 2024 में एक नई किचन सेटअप करोगे तो उसका क्या प्रोसेस फॉलो करोगे?
ओके, सो टू स्टार्ट अ न्यू किचन बेसिकली आई थिंक आपको सबसे एसेंशियली आपको समझना है कि आपके आसपास क्या लोग प्रेफर करते हैं. बिफोर एंटरिंग द किचन आई थिंक इट्स इम्पॉर्टेंट कि आप बाहर जाओ और आप समझो कि लोगों को क्या चाहिए. गो टू देम, गो एंड आस्क देम व्हाट दे वांट. गो टू द स्ट्रीट्स एंड सी व्हाट पीपल वांट और शो देम पिक्चर्स. क्या ये वो खाना चाहेंगे या ये वो खाना चाहेंगे. आप इंस्टाग्राम पे देख रहे हो कोई कुछ कर रहा है, आप वो ब्लाइंडली करोगे उसका कोई फ़ायदा नहीं अगर आपकी मार्केट उसको एक्सेप्ट ही नहीं करेगी. तो आई थिंक यू हैव टू स्टार्ट फ्रॉम दैट एंड देन आफ्टर दैट you have to see what kind of products you're making. After that you're talking about the kitchen setup part, right?
Yeah.
So depending on your investment, I think the beauty about our field is you can put in less money also and start your business, or you can just go all in and have a big setup. So it depends on what kind of a budget you have. But according to me, the key essential things that you need to start is a good oven, a good stand mixer. These two things are very very important.
Any brand you would recommend for a good oven?
So we use Unox right now. I'm quite happy with it. I think that's it's a popular brand between bakers and I like it.
And you even talked about freezers, right? So
Yes.
any brand you would recommend?
We are using Hoshizaki fridge and freezer both, and then we have chest freezer which is Blue Star.
विद इंटरनेशनल ब्रांड्स इंडियन बेकर्स के दिल में एक फियर होता है कि क्या इसके पार्ट्स मिलेंगे, अगर ये ख़राब हो गए तो कैसे इसे ठीक कराएंगे. सो आप जैसे आपने एक जापानीज़ ब्रांड बताई, हाउ वाज योर एक्सपीरियंस विद देम?
इट्स गुड. अभी तक तो टू बी ऑनेस्ट ऐसा कोई चैलेंज हुआ नहीं, बट अगर स्मॉल थिंग्स आर नीडेड then you have to make sure that you're buying it from a authorized dealer because you'll need after sale services, and these brands are easily available in India and they come through authorized dealers. So make sure that you're reaching out to the right dealers who can help you take feedback from people around you. There are many people in this industry who will be more than happy to help you out. Just reach out to them. They will
Sure.
tell you where to get your products from. And I have not had any issue with after sales services.
एक पेस्ट्री किचन सेटअप करते हुए स्पेशली इन दिल्ली किन चीज़ों का ध्यान रखना चाहिए?
ओके, आई थिंक सबसे पहले तो किचन सेटअप करने से पहले मेक श्योर दैट यू हैव ऑल योर लाइसेंसेस इन प्लेस. दैट इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. FSSI लाइसेंस, GST एंड फायर लाइसेंस, ऑल ऑफ दैट इज़ एसेंशियल. उसके अलावा यू हैव टू make sure that your location, according to me, is very important, because at the end of the day the pastry industry in India is very different. Here people don't want to walk into a store and then buy a pastry. The bigger culture here is to order. They want that ease, because we have those services available easily, so people want कि हम order करें और वो बस हमारे घर आ जाए. So you have to make sure that your location is such that you can cater to maximum amount of people around you, because at the end of the day it's a perishable product. तो वो जितना ज़्यादा ट्रैवल करेगा उतना आपके लिए उसको ट्रांसपोर्ट करना एक चैलेंज होगा.
एज अ फाउंडर एंड अ बेकर, लोका बोका में आपका एक दिन कैसा होता है फ्रॉम मॉर्निंग टू क्लोजिंग टाइम?
So I do a little bit of everything actually. I wouldn't say कि मैं यही करती हूँ, ये नहीं करती. I enjoy all of the processes. My day starts with entering the kitchen and ensuring that all the orders are in place. Just guiding the team if they need help, briefing them about what needs to be done for the day. So in the kitchen we start with our order list for the day and for the next day, whatever prep work we need to do, and overlooking all of the custom orders, making sure that whatever the client has orders actually what we're preparing and everything is in place. And personally I'm always start my day with making a list of to checklist of what I need to do through the day, be it inside the kitchen or otherwise. And my day also includes a lot of like Instagram work, because we have to be consistent with that, speaking to our marketing company, making sure all the clients are interacted with and they have whatever they need. And towards the end of the day is where we are doing more of the production work and for preparing for the next day and discussing what all needs to be done. And we end the day by just the entire team coming together and just deciding on what all needs to be done next.
Okay. Chef, I want you to explain what is an entremet.
So an entremet is a French style cake wherein there's a lot of layers and a different kind of textures. So for example, if I were to talk about one that we're working on right now, so it has a mousse, it has a layer of sponge, it has multiple layers. So mousse, sponge, it has a crunchy almond layer, it has some more sponge and mousse, and then at the end there's another layer of crunch. So it would have different textures and different flavors, and the beauty of it is that when you're having one bite, you'll have all of the flavors together and they balance very well.
शेफ़, अगर कोई ऑन्ट्रमेज के अराउंड बिजनेस सेटअप करता है तो वो क्या क्या चैलेंजेस फेस कर सकता है?
आई थिंक अगर आप एक बिज़नेस सेटअप कर रहे हो उसके अराउंड, तो एसेंशियल है कि आपके पास जो क्वालिटी इंग्रेडिएंट्स हो वो बहुत प्रीमियम हो. दैट इज़ वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. एंड सेकेंड थिंग जो इम्पॉर्टेंट है वो है आपके टूल्स. आपको क्रीम विप करनी है, यू हैव टू हैव अ वेरी गुड मशीन, अदरवाइज आपकी क्रीम विल नॉट रीच दैट टेक्सचर. And if you want to do a spray or a glaze, you need the right tools for it. So I think you have to invest into that. And of course the biggest investment according to me in this is the molds, because they're quite expensive, and initial cost is a little bit high, I would say, because molds and all of these tools you need. But after that, for me, according to me, what the beauty of this is that production is much easier. You can easily produce more in one go. So
Okay.
if you're making one entremet versus you're making 10, it's almost the same amount of time you're trying to spend.
शेफ़, एज वी नो इट्स अ वेरी टेम्परेचर सेंसिटिव प्रोडक्ट, तो किन चीज़ों का ध्यान रखना चाहिए, कीपिंग इन माइंड दिल्ली इज़ अ वेरी हॉट सिटी?
Of course, it's quite delicate. So you have to make sure जो delivery हो रही है, that is very done very properly in insulated bags. There is dry ice and it's properly reaching the client. Make sure that your entremet is completely frozen before it's dispatched, so that the people who are receiving it, by the time they get it, it's at the right temperature.
Okay.
Make sure you're giving them your recipes are different, so make sure you're giving them instructions on how to consume it. If you think that your product or your entremet needs to be resting in the fridge after they receive it, उनको बताओ, inform करो कि अब ये ऐसा होगा, आप उसको फ्रिज में रखो and then have it after an hour. Or if you feel like your entremet is going to just 10-15 minutes away, make sure you inform them कि अभी आपका entremet शायद frozen होगा, let it be outside or let it be in the fridge for a few hours before you consume it. Because people are also fairly new to it, so you have to make sure that they understand. Otherwise, if the temperature, if it's too soft or if it's too hard, they will not understand the product at all, even though आपने एक बहुत अच्छा product create किया है. But अगर वो cut through करे and it's frozen,
Yeah.
then it's game over for you.
या शेफ़, अगर जैसे कोई बिल्ड करता है बिजनेस जस्ट अराउंड ऑन्ट्रीमेस, तो वो कितना प्रॉफिट मार्जिन एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हैं इस प्रोडक्ट कैटेगरी में से?
Like I was saying before, profit margin will depend on the kind of ingredients you're using. But isme, when you're starting off, the cost is a little bit high because you have to make sure that you have very, very good freezers. Normal घर के freezer में it's not going to, maybe you can still try, but it doesn't come out that well. And if you're trying to produce many, आप एक दो बारी भी freezer खोलोगे तो फिर the normal regular home freezer will not be able to cool that much. So you have to invest in the right equipment, you have to invest in the right ingredients, and of course the molds, like I was saying, is they're quite expensive. So that way, to start off, it's, I would say, more, but essentially you can expect similar kind of margins as any other product.
ओके, ऑलराइट। शेफ़, इंडिया में बेकर्स को ऑन्ट्रीमेस बनाना बहुत पसंद है, बहुत सारे लोग कोशिश करते हैं, बट बहुत कम होते हैं जो उसमें सक्सेस पा पाते हैं। आप कुछ टिप्स एंड ट्रिक्स शेयर कर सकते हो टू अचीव अ परफेक्ट ऑन्ट्रीमे?
I would say there are so many recipes online जो आप ट्राई कर सकते हो. कभी कभी easy recipes भी आती है. I feel like in entremets, easy way out may not be the best one. So give it a try. Try everything. Try out many recipes. Start with preparing the mousse. That is the main thing. अगर आप अंदर के flavors, तो you can still experiment with. If you have a good mousse recipe, only then can you create different textures around it. Only then will your glaze sit on it properly or your spray sit on it properly. So that is essential according to me. And keep experimenting. Use good quality ingredients. Do not use whipping soy based or dairy, non-dairy whipping cream. That will never give you the same results.
Okay. Is it possible to make an entremet with compound chocolate?
I've never tried it. I wouldn't dare to try it. It's not something we use in our kitchen at all. I have no experience working with compound chocolate. You can try, let me know.
Okay. शेफ़, आपको कहाँ से ऑर्डर्स आते हैं? I mean, कौन से प्लेटफॉर्म्स आप यूज़ करते हो जहाँ से आपको ऑर्डर्स आते हैं?
So currently, Instagram, of course, WhatsApp, and we have our own website through which we get orders.
Okay, all right. And like आपने जो अपना डिलीवरी सिस्टम बनाया है वो कैसे बनाया है? Like how do you operate your deliveries?
So we have our own riders also for nearby orders that don't go too far. We have our own riders, and for other areas of Delhi, for Gurgaon mostly we have our own riders, and for Delhi we have tie-up with different delivery companies. So they help us with that.
Okay. जब आपके अपने ड्राइवर्स होते हैं, इट्स वेरी इजी टू एजुकेट देम अबाउट हाउ टू डिलीवर दीज प्रोडक्ट्स, पर जब आप एक थर्ड पार्टी के साथ टाई अप करते हो, हैव यू फेस्ड एनी इश्यूज वर्किंग विद देम, स्पेशली व्हेन यू आर डिलीवरिंग entremets?
Of course, I mean, delivery companies are they're doing their job and they're very good, but essentially every time a new rider may be coming to you and they may not be aware. So in our kitchen itself, if we see a new face, we ensure that we tell them how to carry the cake. We ensure that we see how he's placing the cake into the bag, how much dry ice that person is carrying. So our team knows that whenever they see a new face, they will make sure कि अच्छा ये person maybe he doesn't know, even though they all claim that they know, but we make sure that from our side there is no gap left, because at the end of the day it's a celebration for someone, and we would ensure that it reaches them safely.
Shiv, we saw that you collaborated with Benefit India at one point, right? ये collaboration कैसे मिला आपको और किस चीज़ के अराउंड था ये?
So this collaboration was actually they reached out to us.
Okay.
And they were having a small event at Sephora. They had a small setup there. So they wanted just me to invite more people, my friends, my family, and people I know of, just for them to come in and have a good time. It was an event for girls, of course, wherein people would come and they would apply some makeup, play some games, and we were actually offering some goodies to them for them to try out Loca Boca. So we had a lot of people, of course, from the store also coming in and trying the product, and we had a lot of people who saw from Instagram, they were coming in.
शिव, एज यू सेट आप इंस्टाग्राम पे काफ़ी टाइम स्पेंड करते हो अपनी ब्रांड को बिल्ड करने में. आपके हिसाब से आज के टाइम पे एक ब्रांड का इंस्टाग्राम पर होना कितना ज़रूरी है एंड एक्टिवली होना कितना ज़रूरी है?
I think it's very, very essential. आज के टाइम पे if you're not consistent on Instagram, then I think it's something you need to work on. It's not just that you are there on Instagram, but it's also that you are consistent with it. You have to make sure that you're showing people what you are, what you're doing, and being true to your brand. And for me, I don't think it's a big challenge as well, because we're just showing them what we are and what we do on a daily basis, and it's quite interesting to see, I think.
शिव, यू मेक अ लॉट ऑफ रील्स और कुछ रील्स में आपके पेरेंट्स भी आपके साथ इन्वॉल्व होते हैं. सो इन रील्स के पीछे आपका क्या थॉट प्रोसेस होता है एंड लाइक व्हाट काइंड ऑफ एक्सपीरियंस यू वांट टू गिव टू योर व्यूअर्स?
So the last 2 reels we did, one with my father and my mother, it was for actually Mother's Day and Father's Day.
Okay.
And we just wanted people to see the brand and to resonate with it more. हम क्या करते हैं, हमारे इस ब्रांड के पीछे कौन लोग हैं. I just want to be very real with them and for them to understand क्या रोज़ इस किचन में होता है and what they can expect from the brand when they're ordering from Loca Boca.
शेफ, एक बेकरी ब्रांड को इंस्टाग्राम पे किस तरीके का कंटेंट शेयर करना चाहिए और लाइक कैन यू गिव सम टिप्स? जो लोग बिल्कुल नए हैं, उन्हें नहीं समझ आ रहा, शुड दे गो विद पोस्ट, स्टोरीज, रील्स?
I think you should do a little bit of everything, because stories, post, reels, सबका एक अलग purpose है. In today's day, there's so much competition that you have to make sure that you're just present everywhere. And more than presence, it's important to be consistent. So reels have a different purpose, post will have a different purpose, and so if you're posting something today, people will definitely, when a new person's coming to your profile, they will see those pictures. But if you're posting on reel or on your stories, your existing clients will be interacting with you more. So you have to understand that you have to cater to the new people also and the existing clients also. You have to keep them entertained. Stories are more for maybe informing them about what's happening on a regular basis, what kind of new products we're trying to offer to them.
Shiv, what's the future plan for Loca Boca?
So if you talk about short term, there's something exciting coming up which I can't say much about. I can just say that it might be easier for you to order Loca Boca. And for the future, there's so much actually. I want to make sure that Loca Boca is present in every household and everyone's had our product. And I just see a lot of our team growing bigger, our kitchen operations being grander, and having more kitchens around Delhi. And I see a lot of people wearing orange.
Okay. Thank you so much, Chef, for coming today and sharing so much about your business and your life. And I'm sure बहुत सारे bakers जो internationally पढ़ना चाहते हैं, जो entremets में काम करना चाहते हैं, उनको ये podcast बहुत पसंद आएगा.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.